live from Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. How are you guys doing? It is really a sad week. It's great though that it's been like days after this horrible thing happened. Like it took me a long time to process this, even though I'm not even American and I don't even live in America. What happened to Charlie Kirk was such a tragedy and something that I cannot tolerate because we Japanese in Japan have experienced the same thing with Shinzo Abe. Like I know how you guys feel. It's of course the backgrounds are different, the figures are different, but like this violence against democracy. I don't know why you would call it like, just the regular idea that elections and freedom of speech and that sort of things. Like I'm gonna just say democracy because it's easier. This violence is something that I can never tolerate, and it's just common sense, in a society like my country. Yeah, yes, I'm gonna get into it, but just thought that I would just say that. Hello, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Yeah, hello, thank you for coming. I am so sorry that I'm late. It's been a really, for me, it's been a busy week, and at the same time, I was emotionally kind of crushed by this incident, or I would say terrorism. And yeah, so it's on our newspaper as well. Since Charlie Kirk is not, he's I would say activist, right? And he's not a politician. So we do get coverage about his passing in Japan as well, but it's not treated the same, I guess. Like if he was a politician, then it would have become a bigger news and it would get on the front news and it would probably have gotten on the top news of our news programs. But it does get covered, but it's just the priorities are kind of later, So, but still, this I didn't get yesterday's newspaper, so I don't know. But on TV, we are getting the coverage, I didn't get that, like, so the day that it happened, when he was shot, I woke up at around 6:30 in the morning, which is rare. It was a busy day for me, so I had to wake up early like a normal person. Woke up at like 6:30, and then when I woke up, I go to my phone, right? And I opened X, and people were writing. It was actually Elon Musk's post, I think, that I first saw, and it said that he was shot. Charlie Kirk was shot, and I was like, "Why? Like, what is happening?" Right? And I couldn't tell like how serious it was, but I at first somehow I thought it would be just like he would survive, of course. Like that's my hope. That was my hopeful thinking, and I then after a little while, like I kept scrolling down and also like checking the web for information, and one moment like I was refreshing, and then it said that he is dead, and I just lost my words, like I didn't know what to think at the moment. Like my brain just went blank, like what, right? And then I started to see all the horrible footage of him actually getting shot and bleeding, and I had to just walk up on the other side of the world, and it was so shocking. And I didn't like. I felt like it was really a nightmare because I had just got up, right. I was still. I mean, I got up, but like I was still in my bed. So I'm like what is happening? Like I had a really hard time processing, and then I was just shocked and devastated by what I was seeing on the timeline. And since from there, since my algorithm reacted to that, like it kept showing all about what happened to him, and how the criminal or suspect was running. He got caught, right? So it's on our newspaper now as well. But like, I experienced the same thing as you. Even though I am in Japan, you know how algorithm works, and so like, and I am, I read English too. So I guess that I experienced the same thing as you, and it was so much, too much to handle. But yeah, I just wanna say that I am with you. Like I know that you guys have been having a hard week, and so are the people here. Like there are people like myself who understands English, or even if they don't understand English, they are closely following the news in America. And yeah, and also our reports, like our mainstream media, even though it can be biased depending on the topic, or especially like historical views and so on are biased, but still it's not as bad as the media in America. So we and because America is another country, we can objectively see what's happening. So our media reportings are just like facts based, factual. It's just factual. Like, oh, what happened? This happened. Oh, who is Charlie Kirk? What was he doing? How did he get shot? Like, how many? Like, what's the distance? And how did the suspect run? And blah blah blah. That sort of thing. So yeah. So and we got updated, each time when there was a development. And people online are, of course, like Japanese people have been reacting to the news as well, and I translated some of the reactions to let you guys know. So yeah, and sorry, I'm gonna get to your comments, but this is today. It's Sunday, September 14th. We are in the future here, but this is a second page, and I see the suspect's face. Right, 22 years old suspect caught. Tyler Robinson. Yeah, it kills me, like it breaks my heart when I think about. Of course, like I'm sad for Charlie Kirk himself, right? Like he was courageously, he was such a courageous man, speaking in the public. To the people, and especially like working to have a conversation or debate with the young people on campus, and that is such an amazing movement. And for that I was following him on X and so on too, but probably the content of like how his policies and so on, and probably like I probably have differences with him, but this is about freedom and freedom of speech and violence against it, to take it away, especially from the family and from you guys. And I can't begin to imagine what his wife is going through. Like, I had such a hard time just looking. I still like I'm getting goosebumps because it's just so sad, that when I look at every time I see the post by Akie Abe, the wife of Shinzo Abe, she's still. It's like she has so many memories with Shinzo Abe. Like she was basically like the first lady, even though we don't use the term first lady. Shinzo Abe was a prime minister. She followed him to the places, even internationally, and she often has had to work for him in public and so on. And after he was killed. Recently, what has become a problem is that she even went to see Putin in Russia, which was like politically, it's really troublesome. It is something that we need to criticize. But at the same time, as a wife, it's like she was doing all this tour internationally to, I guess she wanted to remember his husband, because Shinzo Abe was human. He was a husband to his wife, and just every time I see her, it's still like it, it breaks my heart, and now I look at what has happened to Charlie Kirk's family, and they have children too, and I don't know. I just like it's politics, of course. Like I am an activist too, and my husband, for example, he's on the blacklist of CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and the organization, the international like a forum that me and my husband attend. Russia knows it. Like they have labeled us as a terrorist organization. So like we are putting ourselves in the like we could be targets as well. So like it's not something that like I mean we are doing that too, but especially because of that, like I can't think of it like just a random incident, it's so terrible. Yeah, it's awful that Shinzo Abe got shot. And then, as I have made a post about, I wrote about this though on X to show you that after Shinzo Abe was attacked and killed, our former prime minister, the prime minister at the time, Kishida, former prime minister Kishida, then prime minister Kishida, got attacked as well. That there was this random guy that threw a pipe bomb, like Abe got shot with a handmade gun. The suspect, he made a gun because it's not a gun society here in Japan, right? And then Kishida, then Prime Minister Kishida, he got attacked by a homemade pipe bomb. And the suspect had two pipe bombs and then one like a fruit knife, like it's kind of long though. And because the security guard, like they protected him, and also like it didn't go out, it didn't explode, so it was good luck, and then later this year, Takashi Tachibana, NHK party leader, he got attacked with a machete, like a blade, and he got, because the suspect was kind of nervous, like he got attacked like on his ear and head. But all this violence has been happening, and it's not new though. Like in the 60s and 70s, Japanese leftists were so radical that they were they were they were hurting each other too, because like they have the factions struggle, like power struggles, and there were killings and so on. So it's not new to us that the left is violent, but it's coming back now. That it is so awful. Oh, Super Chat, thank you so much. Let's see. An evil act lies in evil ideology. Thanks, Yoko and husband stays. Thank you so much. Yes, it is. Oh yeah, Charlie Kirk. By the way, as you probably know, he had visited Japan. I don't know how many days was it. Like 4 days. Like very recently, Charlie Kirk had visited Japan after South Korea. He went to South Korea as well. So South Koreans, did you guys see my repost? The South Koreans are having this like a gathering, or I don't know if it's a protest. I can't really understand the backgrounds. Like I haven't looked into it yet, but South Koreans are shouting, chanting, like, we are Charlie Kirk. And I think that like Christian leader was, I think he was arrested. Like something is happening over Christian groups in Korea. So yeah, you guys, like in America, the right side of America, and the conservatives in South Korea, What you guys have in common is Christianity. So the bond is strong. So, of course, that's a threatful thing for the left. Let's see. Thank you so much for your comments. Yoko, we need your consoling and emotional support in this time of mourning. Yeah, I'm here for you. Poundy. Let's see. Hello, Yoko. I live really close to Turning Point USA headquarters. Oh, really? It has been very busy with people going to pay tribute. Oh, yeah. I also saw Charlie Kirk once in 2021 or 22. Very horrible and scary. Oh, yeah. What's, I heard that Ben Shapiro canceled the, like a public debate thing. I think like a gathering. I don't know what it was. Like I saw the part that Ben Shapiro canceled. And some people were saying like it's what they want, like you can't step back now, but it's actually you need to survive though, so it's after Trump got nearly, after Trump got shot, like it was thanks to the divine intervention, he survived, but it's good that after that, even he changed the location, right, to inside instead of the rallies outside. It's really like, like all these attacks happen even in Japan, so like it's not really a matter of guns. Of course, if it's easily, if it's available more easily, then it might have something to do with the possibilities. But still, like it's about the matter. The important thing is that it's all because of people, the minds. The like what the example that we Japanese people often use is like a knife. For example, a knife can be useful, but knife can take lives of the others, and it's really not. It's not a matter of the tool, but the mind of the people. So I hope that you guys don't get carried away by the left's narrative. Good morning, Sunday morning, yay! Good morning. He also made some comments critical of Israel as well. Some people have made that connection. Oh yeah, I saw that conspiracy theory already. Yeah. Too many Americans the same about Charlie Kirk's murder. I made a lot of friends while in China before I moved to Japan. Oh yeah, after Shinzo-san was killed, I lost several Chinese friends and connections due to their social media celebrations. Yeah. What is wrong with people celebrating his death? So awful. Because liberalism should be about like liberty, right? That you are like, I thought that they believe in diversity, and it's so strange that it's like they just exclude who they don't like, and then they want to enjoy the diversity and liberty and so on, and it doesn't make sense because they are ignoring the reality that there are a lot of people with different perspectives, different way of thinking, and that's what makes the world interesting, and that's what that's how we can maintain the balance in society. But they're really really extreme. We are in Japan, we are experiencing the same thing. The left is really violent, and they are just aggressive, and I have repeated this many times before, but Shinzo Abe was killed because I have to say that because there was this atmosphere that we can do that, because that's the atmosphere that the left has created. They kept demonizing Abe, like Hitler, Nazi, that sort of things, and fascist. And there was like anti-fascist protest in Japan many times. Of course, the left is organizing it, and they're like, "Oh, Abe is bad, bad, bad. Oh, he's a fascist, blah blah blah, dictator, blah blah blah." Exactly the same as what the left in America are saying against Trump, and that's why they got close. By the way, the New York Times hate both of them. That's the connection that Trump and Shinzo Abe had. They're like, "Oh, you too," So yes, they're terrible. By the way, so there's the suspect picture, and then on the third, is it on the fifth page of today's Yomiuri Shimbun? You see this picture, people hugging, and there's Charlie Kirk's picture there, and the suspect is saying that Charlie Kirk was spreading hatred, and the suspect was he was smart, his grades were good, and a good guy. What? Friends are shocked, and Trump wanting death penalty. I heard though that I was surprised to see that the suspect is Mormon. Yeah, it says, because it's Utah, right? He's a Mormon and really smart. So crazy. I was thinking like it could be like, I don't know. I thought that maybe it was like a team, of assassination team, and like somebody professional did that. But then I saw the backgrounds of this guy, like he was using guns, like he was familiar with guns. So I'm not now surprised by the capability. Yeah. Glad I found you on X. I am an American expat living in Yokosuka. Oh, cool. And I'm also an actor. Really? I can tell one thing about what worries me is the number of foreign and far leftists are living in Japan as well. Yeah. Yes. Thanks for finding me. Yes. There is this. There are some famous figures, like liberal figures in Japan as well from overseas, and some have naturalized even, and they want to change Japan. They openly say that. So that's but at least like people on the right side know what they're doing, what they're trying to do, and so on. And of course we find it annoying. So we don't like it. And there's this black dude in Japan, I think, like he is pushing BLM to Japan. What was his name? I made a video a long time ago about it, because Japanese comedians on TV were doing blackface, and it's just a thing that we've been doing for decades. And it's like, for us, it's not discrimination, but he, of course, because he's black, he has different opinions. And even though like in Japan we don't have many black people in the first place, though, like it's a inner thing, but he doesn't like it, and he's making a fuss about it. And yeah, we have issues like that. Anyway, super chat will be prioritized, by the way. Okay. Yeah, what a world we live in. He lived with a trans dude. Is that correct information? Like I do see that info here and there online. Yeah. Oh, so I do see the narrative by the left saying like, oh, the right side is so like they're the right side, or like a dividing America and so on. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Every time I see the narrative like that, I'm like, I get frustrated, because that's not the case. Even before Trump, by the way, I know from another country that America has had this division, already. That you guys are such a, you guys love to debate, right? Like such a debating country. Uh, and I find it cool, like we Japanese people, we are not a verbal culture. We don't have verbal culture. Our culture is very non-verbal. We just stare, or like it's telepathic, or it's we just show our opinions through our actions or how we behave and so on, instead of verbal things. Even like I love you, we don't say that. We just express it somehow. My husband never says that. I have to force him when I want to hear that word. And even then, he doesn't really want to say it because our culture is different. And same for debates. We are getting better at debates, but not like Americans. Americans just debate all the time, right? Like it's strength though. Like I like that part of America. But what I'm trying to say is that when I was learning English from starting from high, for me like I studied to like our education system at the time. Like I had to learn English starting at the age of 13, and then like it's like a compulsory education, right? And then 16th, I was in high school and I realized I love English. I started to learn a lot. And then in university, I majored in English, and I did have like good teachers for 2 years. For other 2 years, like our education is weird. Like I didn't have to take many classes anymore, so like I didn't. But anyway, so my professors in universities, they taught us how to debate, right? And then the topics that I learned, it was back in like 2004 and so on, way back in time, like Bush era, right? And then we had to pick topics, and I remember like there was already the division, like, oh, gun control, anti, like like the anti-gun control, and birth control, and anti-birth control, and blah 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 blah. Like it's all like already America was like that, and I had to pick a side, to learn English and so on. And later, decades later, right? What is it? Yeah. And Trump came around, and everybody is, all the left people on the left side are, blaming it on Trump. And I'm like, they're so spoiled. Like it's their own fault that they can't have people understand their perspective, or that they are the one agitating all this hatred. It's so weird because they are looking at Trump as this, like as if he's a like a really devilish, like a bad figure. But I don't think so from Japan. Like he's a unique guy, and he, of course, like when we politically engage, of course there are problems that we encounter because he strongly insists his opinions, and we need to think of how to get around it, right? It's difficult, but it doesn't mean that he is evil and so on. You know what I mean? So the leftists don't know how to process, and it's their problem, and they say like, oh, Trump is bad, 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 bad. Like what? Anyway. Recently, 2 Democratic senators were also assassinated in Minnesota. As an American, I'm sad to see political violence becoming more common. Oh yeah, that happened. Yeah. Why violence? Like I would have to, of course, like doesn't matter which side they're on. Violence is something that I cannot tolerate. But the tendency of the left, though, is a problem because it's the same here. It's always the conservative side that get attacked, at least in Japan. Do we have like the right side in Japan is what's the word? It's divided too though, but even though I really can't stand the left, I would never think to prevent them from speaking and would condemn anyone mocking someone dying. Yeah, but I think every every celebrating this should be fired. Yeah, someone got fired, right? Some people are getting fired for their celebration, right? Uh, was it MSNBC? Like somebody got fired. I think I saw like two cases. As long as you don't 100% agree with them, they don't see you as human anymore. Yeah, and they can justify doing anything. Yes, exactly. The justification is too, like, it's gone way too far. The dehumanization is on purpose. Yeah. A song was released 1 month prior titled Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. What? Are you serious? Whoa. Man, I'm such a slow reader. Did you go to Eikaiwa? No. I just talk to people online. You don't have to pay to talk to people. They're everywhere. Like you guys right now. Like you're there. I just talk to people. And also dating helps if you're young. Iko is trans for sure, right? Yeah. Iko and Ai Haruna. She's so cute. She's gotten a little old, but still beautiful. Mm-hmm. But I know that Christian people would not like it though. Like Japanese conservatism are different from American conservatism, and our religious backgrounds are different. So, of course, there are differences, but what we are against though are the same. For the most part, like this LGBT type of things get confusing because probably like Christian people assume that the rest of the developed countries are the same, but we are Japanese. We are different. Trans boyfriend he lived with. Correct facts. Oh no. I think the young people are confused by the education in America, though, as you are probably thinking. It's terrible. Even the surgeries. Please. Like, I was a confused child. When I was a teenager, I always thought that, like, I want to be a guy. You know, like, I would get offended when people say, like, beautiful or that, or you know, like they would call me a woman or a lady. I'm like, I used to get offended because I thought that females are kind of, what's the word, inferior compared to men. That was my recognition because my dad is such a conservative guy that like he was just looking down on women in a way, you know, because they are not, women are usually not a good driver and so on, for example. And I would hear the complaints all the time that I guess that I was brainwashed to, for like, you know, a little bit to think that women are inferior compared to men. Even though now I look back, I realize like, I mean, like I've learned that just men and women have different roles, but I couldn't take it as it is. So I used to think like, oh, I want to be like a guy, you know, stronger and smarter than the men. And I was such a tomboy. My speaking manner was even bad, you know, because I wanted to appear tough and so on. So my speaking was so terrible, you know. It's a little bit different from cursing, but it's similar to that. Like I was using bad words and so on. So back then, like if I am so glad that I didn't get the education of, you know, oh, you could get a surgery and so on, because back then with my mind, like growing up during the adolescence time, I bet that I would, like, because of the hormone imbalance and so on, I know that I wouldn't have had a healthy judgment. So who knows what I would have done to my body. Like when I think about it, it's so, I get scared, you know. I'm so glad that I was not younger, if you know what I mean. Yeah. How about practicing English with Japanese in izakaya? Yeah, people at izakaya are fun. Woke madness must end. Yeah. At least, like, Japanese conservatives, by the way, we understand the fight that Trump is doing, that, or the battles against political correctness, like overly done political correctness, and the excessive push for of LGBTQ. You know, yeah. At least you should know that Japanese people are with you. You know, those who have common sense, we are with you. So I don't like debating at all. Really, I like calm, rational discussion with open-minded people, but few those exist. Yeah, I mean, I would like that too. Like, yeah, debates are kind of like, I don't like the tension. I just want to look at, like, it should be positive. Yeah. But debating skill, though, it kind of enhance your thoughts with the questions that you ask. So it's it's really great. My husband is home. I learned yesterday that Utah has death penalty. Really? By firing a squad. What? Firing a squad? Like, bim, 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 and then you die? Most likely more people will be arrested for the assassination. Really? Maybe not a true team, but definitely more people conspired. Like, he was posting, right, the suspect of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, he was like, I don't know, I think I read that he, what was it? Like, I read somewhere that, like, the people around him noticed and told him to go to the police or something like that. So he must have been posting online. So why was that not noticed by the local authority and so on? I don't know if it's a local or federal, but yeah. And I saw this boy that went to the same school with him or something, maybe high school, I don't know, but like, he held a yearbook, and this is him. You know, he was pointing the suspect's face and so on, and the boy was saying that he went to the same school, and that he saw the suspect as like a Reddit guy, a Reddit guy, and I hope that the information that the boy was carrying is correct, though. Like, I can't tell from Japan, but given that it's correct, then the Reddit guy makes sense to me. Like, how this all evolved to this crime, you know. Oh, super chat! Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you. Oh, super chat from, I don't know how to read your name. Giax. Thank you. It took me over 10 years to leave the US for Japan. Oh, Now I see Muslims and Gaikokujin everywhere. Are you in Tokyo? Even in Naka? Where are you located? I'm concerned about Nihon culture. You? Not really. That's the difference. Again, this conservatives is on. Um, what I do worry about the how many babies foreigners make. You know, like they're fast at making babies. And Japanese people, it's not like that we don't want babies. We do want to have children, but it's the finance. You know, we think ahead because we are smart. We calculate ahead, and that's a problem. So, but then our politicians are noticing why, you know, that we are not being able to have children, and also like they need to, with the rise of smaller parties today, pushing economic policies like the Democratic Party for the People, they push economic policies, and then that's how they are getting all the support from younger generation. So now, like the ruling parties, uh, LDP and Komeito, they are learning that our demand, you know, so they will have to change course. Yeah. And yeah, the regionally they have problems, but I seriously don't know what the local people are doing because they should go to their politicians and solve the problem, you know. And recently there was this controversy of like African immigrants to Japan, you know, through JICA, but because it became controversial, you know, like again, it's not about, we're not issuing special visa or anything. It was basically it was fake news. It was just a sister city kind of thing, the interaction that we've been doing, and it's also an investment for Japan that we are investing in Africa, and that's the kind of investigation is. Investment is something that we've been doing, and it's actually through Abe initiatives, which started in 2013, continuation of that policy. So it's different from what people overseas assume. But because there was this controversy, I think the bright side is that now people are more alert, you know, like we are learning that, like locally that sort of interaction is happening, and what do and local people usually do not care about the local politics because they don't think that that sort of things is happening, you know. So they should be more aware of where their votes are, like what their votes are actually making things happen, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, super chat! Thank you so much. I have met leftist foreigners who have bragged about being paid to protest in Japan. Really? Oh wow. Who paid them? I want to know who's behind this. Japanese government needs to investigate. I wonder what kind of protest, because as for BLM, Japanese Communist Party was doing that. Like as far as I can tell from information on X, you know, like because there will be like promotion of BLM and so on, right? And then if you look at who reposted and so on, and then who the accounts are following and so on, like if you check the backgrounds, then you will realize like, oh, it's a communist party. So, but would they pay? I don't know. So, I wonder what kind of protest that is. In Japan, by the way, Chinese often do that. Chinese Communist Party often give money. You know, they have their own like a communication tool. You know, I don't know what they're using. Maybe Telegram. I don't know. But some people take a screenshot of that though, because there are those who understand Chinese, among those who are colonized by China, of course, you know. So and they are in Japan. So of course, sometimes we get the information like that, like, oh, there was this like recruitment of part-time job to protest at a certain time and place, and then they have come to our events as well. So it's a thing. Like, we're not surprised about it. Like, we are used to it. Like, oh, that's the spies. Like, we can tell too. So yeah. So it's not as intense as you kind of imagine from hearing it in public, but yeah. But I wonder what kind of, yeah. Like, I had liberal friends before, you know, before I only became politically active in 2012. So I'm kind of newbie still, you know, and it's been 13 years now. I mean, 13, yeah. But until then, because I study English, you know, I made a lot of foreign friends in Japan. And when I became conservative, you know, like I finally learned how to think about the world, right? And I learned the historical perspective of Japan as well. And I'm like, click, you know, all the things started to click, and finally realized, you know, basically like red pilled, right? So it was great. But then people around me, like especially foreign friends, started to say like, oh, you're so, like, you're being deceived and you're stupid and ma. Like, they started to attack me. So I just blocked them. And then lost my friends. But then years later, some of them, like a YouTuber type of people, you know, from Canada and America, like I saw them participating in BLM protest in Japan. I'm like, they're so stupid. So yeah, I have people like I've had friends like that. Anyway, I believe the Japanese are still thoughtful and kind people, even to gaijin. Yeah, I mean, so again, like Japanese people care about order, you know, law and order. We we appreciate those who follow our tradition, customs, and rules, and those who oppose to that are our enemy. Like, even Japanese people who do not follow our rules, we get so angry at them. So it's not really a matter of race. It's about the people and their recognition of social norms and so on. So yeah, it's yeah, and we still get like impressed when foreigners can speak Japanese and so on. Like, speaking our language in the correct way, you know, like at least the attempts, we can see that. So when that happens, we're like touched by the efforts and so on, right? So yeah, it would help if you didn't have a new president every few months. Are you talking about Japan? Like Japanese prime minister get changed often, and that's exactly what's happening right now. By the way, Japanese people are now, we are busy with who's gonna be the next prime minister. That's our news every day. It's gonna continue until the beginning of next month, October. October 4th will be the election date for LDP leader election. So it's gonna last. Like, you see the face of Koizumi here on the front page. Koizumi, he's gonna run for the LDP leader election. So that's the guy. His father used to be our prime minister when Bush Jr., like 2000, when was that? 2004, 5, kind of around there. Bush Jr. and his father used to be a team, you know, Japan and US. So he's gonna run, but we have all the power struggles inside. So, but conservatives are pushing Takaichi Right, you guys have 8 years. 2001 to 2009. Thank you. Yeah, around that time. Let's see. First time I ever saw Miyoko live is actually Yoko, but thank you. I love you. Yeah, followed your channel for years. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is it true that younger Japanese men want older women? I don't know. I've never seen a survey like that. I don't think so. But the problem that has been happening in Japan is that I guess it's the economy. Like I blame the economy for many things, you know. Back in the day, men were able to be manly because they could afford to buy a car, afford to buy a house, and then the women, you know, like invite women to their car or home, you know, they can do that. But today, they can't afford to buy anything unless they really have like a super good job, you know, and if they're not sick from work, yeah. And then so like it's becoming more and more like the personality like doesn't matter if the gender, but like people are becoming more and more inward, you know. The personality is that we can't afford to do a lot of exciting things anymore. We can't purchase all the things that we want to, so we need to figure out what we can do with the limited resources. So then we are going inward and inward, and it's basically getting rid of all the manly things, you know, wild manly masculine things, right? So it's creating the vicious circle because even their fashion is girly now, very conservative, and some men are waking up to putting on cosmetics on their face and so on. I'm not against the idea of, you know, taking care, like men taking care of their face and so on, like their skin and so on. It's great, but we are hearing about the makeup and so on too. Like eyebrows are okay, but if you start wearing like eyeshadow and foundation is on, I'm like, that's too much, right? So, but yeah, that's that's what's happening in Japan. I've seen this channel one other time and I found this young lady very interesting thinker. Thank you. Yay. Let's see. If you give me super chat, I will jump to that. Just saying. I was surprised the first time I saw the Communist Party headquarters in Tokyo, the Japanese Communist Party. I read that Chinese are the #1 tourist group to Japan. I imagine not many Japanese are traveling to China as tourists. It's declining. I haven't seen the number, but if there has been cases after cases in China that Japanese people are targeted for murder. Like there has been like our people are getting killed in China because we are Japanese. So it's been a problem, and they are like the Japanese people in China are now staying low because it's dangerous. My husband has been loud. What is that? He's been so noisy, but he's washing the dishes for us, so I can't complain. Yeah. It's so interesting, right? Like we are conservatives, and my husband actually wash the dishes for us every day. By the way, I cook and he cleans. All right. Love this channel. Yeah, thank you so much. Male makeup is a total Korean thing. Yeah, I agree. Like we are culturally inspired by Korea so much. So much. Young people love South Korea. Again, you know why? Because that's the only place that we can afford to go. So close. South Korea, if I go to South Korea or Tokyo, doesn't really make a difference. I don't know. I don't even know which is closer to where I live, Fukuoka. Yeah, it used to be the Japanese people would fly to Europe or fly to America, or at least like Hawaii, you know. But now Hawaii, it used to be Hawaii for honeymoon, and then it's kind of when summer's economy started to decline, it became Guam because it's closer to Japan, and now we don't really travel anymore. What's your husband's name? Does he speak English? In English, he tries to, but his pronunciation is so Japanese that you would probably, I don't know, you would have a hard time understanding him. But he can listen well, so he's a smart guy, and he can read and listen well. Just speaking is not really good. Good husband. Thank you. He's a good man. Dishwasher too. He's a good dishwasher. Thank you. Isn't South Korea kind of boring compared to Japan? I don't know. They're very advanced now. So yeah, like South Koreans know how to fit in the international society, so that's very interesting for me. Their soft power, you know, like K-pop and food and that's like fashion. They're really doing a great job, in my opinion. And also, as I said earlier a little bit, their protests in politics, it's getting better and better because now they wave the American flag. They know how to appeal to the world, you know. Like the what do you call it, the placard, like the signs that they hold at rallies and so on. It's in English, so that's a good idea because people like I can understand, but you guys, of course, like English speakers, could instantly tell what it's about and what they're saying with English signs like that. And also they have American flags, so we can tell which side they're on. And yeah, it's good. It's pretty organized, and like they're politically very active. I think that, you know, their president Yoon, former president Yoon, he had he declared martial law, which was a problem, but when that happens, like, you know, they're like still they are fighting whether to release him or not, you know. And the conservatives are on the side of Yoon, of course, and leftists who are close to North Korea sympathizers, they attack Yoon and they want to keep him in jail and so on. And they do all these protests very well, and they have the, like, their financial source is there, you know, always. But people in Japan, however, when people on the right side try to do something, we are doing everything by ourselves, and it's not like we're sponsored by a big company or anything, so we need to do it individually. So yeah, we can learn more from South Korea, I feel. Question to anyone: how hard is it to learn Japanese or Korean kanji and speech? Please tell. Please tell him. Conservatives in indeed normal and family oriented too. Yeah. Oh yeah, Korean drama. That's true. I went to university with a lot of South Koreans, a design school called Art Center in Pasadena, California. Many of the Koreans there were training to work at Samsung, KIA, etc. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Oh, by the way, a lot of, like, because Japan's economy declined over the years, our top level people from, like, famous like electronic brands, there were people who got like headhunt. Is it called headhunt? Like they were invited by Korean companies, and those Japanese people went to Korea to work for them. So it's not entirely by Japanese people, but like our people have influenced Korean industry as well. So that is such a loss for Japan. Let's see. Conservative means normal now. I agree. Anything else? Ganbatte, thank you. The point of opening factories here in the USA is jobs for Americans, not foreigners. Korean needs to learn that. But Korean people, they're hardworking though in America because they don't have the advantage, and they're the like ethnically they're the minority. Like what's interesting is that when I look at American politics, like you don't hear about Asians. Like Asians are just they're there, but it's like stealth. Like they're there, but like it's like Chinese people stand out because it's CCP, but because of CCP, but like Koreans or Japanese people are there in America as well, but we don't really think about like the good Asians, right? So that's interesting. You guys are very cautious about Indians too, but do you hear about Koreans and Japanese people? Like you don't really hear about them, so that's interesting. Just like I guess that there are like people from America and also Europe here in Japan, but they're so like assimilated well to our society that you don't really think about them because they're there as one of us, like one of us who are is what's the word, like forming our society. And you usually notice the bad kind of people. So yeah, I think that the big part of our problem, the problems that we have with foreign people living in Japan or visiting Japan, is that our government or local authorities aren't clear of the rules. The people, like if I visit America, I don't know the rules, like what to do about our garbage, or like how to take out the trash, and all these rules. Like if you live there, especially, you have all the standards, like how much is the tip, how much do you have to pay, like you don't know that, right? And I bet that I would make mistakes, and it's probably the same for foreigners visiting or living in Japan. They don't get informed well, even though probably like our local authority would probably send you all the thing like flyers or letters to showing what to do, but I don't think that it's easy to understand probably, and there are not much English support as well, and some people don't even speak in English. So like I don't know why we invite that sort of people though. But like if our country wants like foreign labor or tourists and so on, we need to be ready, right? But the problem has been that our country is just not doing well about it, in my opinion, because it's confusing. It's confusing for Japanese people too, so I bet that it's confusing for others. Let's see. I like Japanese fashion sense over Koreans, and also music and sense of humor. The Japanese can be weird in a funny way, more down to earth in my opinion. It's probably because of the geography, by the way, because we are surrounded by the oceans, but Korea, they are always they need to always think about China and North Korea. They're connected, you know. So it's because of that, they have to think about other things other than enjoying or embracing all these fun things. Japan is, compared to that, Japan is somewhat peaceful. So we can just ignore the world and have fun to concentrate on creating things, but it's a luxury, geographical thing. Let's see. While in Japan, Charlie Kirk said even my greatest cities would agree that if you put 30 million Pakistani in Japan, Japan's not Japan anymore. That's not xenophobia. It's common sense. Yeah. Yeah. But the premise is so strange, though. Again, like I would probably have disagreements with Charlie Kirk, like with the policies and recognition of the world. But yeah, but it's interesting though. Like I have disagreements even within my own country. With the people on the right side. Even like I have a lot of disagreements. Even with the party that he visited, Sanseito, I have a lot of disagreements with the party. I actually criticize them often. But the important part is that we have many different types of people, so that we have all the sources of information and also the policy ideas and because there are a lot of different types of people, we can, as a result, in the big picture, we are balancing things out. Just like riding on a bicycle, basically. Because it goes back and forth or from right to the left, we are actually balancing things out, and it's really important, in my opinion. I am against totalitarianism, though. I am against totalitarianism. My husband is about to drink something. I heard the sound. Was it hard for you to learn English? How did you go about becoming fluent, by the way? I went to cram school when I was like 15 because English grade was not good at all. It was dragging my all other grades. So I went to cram school for entrance exams of high school. In Japan, we need to take entrance exams for high school, unless you go to private schools, I guess. But I went to a public so-called junior high school, like middle school, for 3 years, which everybody does. And then in order to enter high school, another 3 years, you need to take the exam usually. And in order to do that, my grades were I thought my grades were not good, so I started to go to cram school, and the cram school teacher was so funny. English teacher was so funny that I listened to him, And then basically he boosted my grades, but I don't know, I just learned the grammar book first because that's the bone in a language. So grammar, I made sure I understand everything, like 31 or 2 patterns of grammar. I understood that, and then I just remembered all the example sentences and changed the words here and there in order to make a new sentence. And I'm the kind of person who does not make a complete new sentence by myself. I think of sentences that I can use, which is most structure-wise the most closer to what I want to say, and then it's like a chunk, and then I change the word around to make it work to what I want to say and so on. And today I would just use AI to write a sentence or something, right? And then ask AI is it correct? How do you correct that? And then I would ask AI to think of the words that are relevant to the sentences and so on, or different versions of sentences and so on. Yeah. Anyway, no more super chat. If no no more super chat, you know what I do. I need to go. It's been already like over an hour. What the hell? Oh, now I am looking back in earlier comments. Ostro says, I'm in Higashi Hiroshima. Hiroshima? But an Edo period kominka? What? 200 years old. That's awesome. Wow. Anything else to talk about? Here you cannot speak honestly, or you call the name or ostracized by the dominant left. Oh, like in America, or let's see. I'll be happy to drop you a larger super chat, but I'll have to wait a few days. Medical issues, Oh, are you okay though? Is your body okay? Speaking of medical issues, the show, like I watch Netflix a lot. The show I'm watching now is called The Resident, and it's like a medical show, and it has a little bit. It's interesting because it touches on the matters of the medical field, like the political side of medical field, and also the business side of medical field, and so on. And like I didn't really think about it before, so the show is actually interesting for me, like to think about social aspects. And I like it because the main character is like the woman is from Revenge. I didn't finish that show though because I got annoyed in season 2, but it's called Revenge, and Emily Van Camp, I think. The woman is so cute, and she's a great actor, and so I'm like, oh, that's a Revenge girl, right? And the guy, I noticed later that, oh, he's from Gilmore Girls. He's Logan from Gilmore Girls. So like 2 different worlds coming together in the show. I'm like, yes. So I'm watching that show. It's really good. Yeah. And then later, there's this Asian. She's actually, the actor probably is Japanese blooded, but there's this big Asian girl, woman, and she appears later in in season 2. Where I'm at right now, and so it was a great encounter as well. I watched too many American shows that I know like which actor played in what and so on. It's crazy. Oh, Super Chat, thank you so much, Christopher. Thanks for sharing your stories and insights. Thank you for coming to this live stream. Thank you for your Super Chat too. Thank you. Yeah. Japanese mountains are beautiful. That I have seen lush greenery, little streams, beautiful. Yeah, Japanese mountains are different. Like the colors are different, and I really like. It's beautiful, of course, like when it's clear sky too, but also like when it's kind of misty, it's beautiful too. Yeah. Thank you. Japan has been very supportive for me, and living by this mountain is beautiful. Yeah. Let's see. My mountain is Tenjin-dake. Cool. Mine would be Tenpai-zan. There's a mountain called Tenpai-zan. The zan is yama, but like a mountain. But Tenpai, it means worshipping the above, like it's not heaven, but like above, right? That is because our, back in the day, there was this powerful guy who was sent here from Kyoto, like to the south. Like he was like, bye bye. He had to come to this around here, and then he prayed. So that's the mountain that he prayed. So that's the name of the mountain. Anyway, thanks for sharing the super chat. Anything else? I wish I would have had a... Oh, this is interesting. I haven't read this newspaper yet, but it says like Japan, European countries cooperating for the providing... What is the term though? Like a battery? 蓄電池ってなんだ？蓄電池って何の英語で What is 蓄電池 in English? 蓄電池 Storage battery? Accumulator? Like the kinds of, like you can rechargeable battery, I guess. So it's cool because we are gonna have some memorandum tomorrow to escape from, not escape, but like to let go of China. We are dependent on China, on battery. So that's great. These types of, like not really like interesting aspects of politics is actually important. Yeah, China has the lithium and so on. So that's good. If you give me super chat, I will jump on that. Oh, Charlie's assassination affected me even as an atheist. It is the fact that he was just talking to people and our voices are being silenced with bullets. Yeah, very wary, but do not let up on communication. Yeah. Stay safe, Yoko. It's always good to see you still do this. Every voice matters. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for support. And I agree with you. Yeah. I think that the reason why he was targeted is because he just stands out. He's so successful. What I'm really sad about is that he was really young too. He was 31, right? He had a lot ahead of us, and probably that was the scary part for political enemies, that he has been supported by the enormous amount of people throughout America and across the world. Like he went to South Korea and Japan, and every time he opens his mouth, like we are fascinated, right? So, and even enough, like I probably do not agree with some of his policies, but it actually doesn't matter. Like if you look at the big picture, right? Like we are fighting against political correctness and everything. So like when it comes to that, then we can cooperate, right? And that is such a threat to those who do not agree with us, like those who are on the left side. That's really, dangerous for them, right? So it's I guess that he was an easy target because he was very influential, and I'm really saddened also by that. It's so ironic that people on the left side, they don't ban TikTok. They are not gonna ban TikTok, but they want to ban Christianity. Like Christianity for them is something that they don't like. So it's really bad. Oh, thank you for your super chat. It's yen, 200 yen. Yoko-san, ho, Hokage of Japan with tsu, huh? Tsunade, necklace. What? I can't tell if it's in English or Japanese. Think it though. Necklace, necklace. Yoko started in 2012, just like Kirk. Yes, that's what I learned too. It's so interesting, right? It's probably like a divine thing, you know. I'm a spiritual person, you know. Like I am open to the idea of like the world that we cannot visually see, but is there, you know. And 2012 was such a like a interesting year that many people kind of shifted that year. And also that's the year that the second Abe administration started. It was December 2012. So and it was after 3 years of Democratic Party regime in Japan. 3 years of Democratic Party administration lasted, and then in December, Shinzo Abe took back his power and became the prime minister for the second time. So such a magical year. So, but yeah, Charlie Kirk was so young. I was already like 28 or so, I think. Well, yeah, and then Charlie Kirk is probably like a decade younger than me. 10 years. Tsunade? Oh, I'm not familiar with Naruto. I know only how he runs. But thank you. Yeah. In a time of deceit, telling the truth is revolutionary act. George Orwell. Wow. 2012 movie predicted the end of the world that year. Really? Shinzo Abe loved in Japan. Yes, I liked him. He seemed a very reasonable man. Yes. He was in power. You know, he was a prime minister for a long time. Like it is the longest time in history. So, and he kept winning the election still. Unlike the current one, Ishiba, he lost the election, but he is like, he doesn't want to let go of his power, so he is like forcibly staying in the office. But Abe just kept winning and winning, and yeah, and so for the majority of us, you know, we liked Japan when he was the prime minister because it was stable and the economy was okay, you know, like it was not terrible, and at least like we could see what he was trying to do, so we were supporting him, and it was steady and it lasted for a long time. And for younger generation, you know, like he was the face of our politics for a long time, like growing up, so probably they have a strong attachment for him as well. So yeah, he's just a good guy, you know, like you can see that in his face, so, or in his eyes. Yes. About Abe Shinzo murder, did you hear any anonymous Japanese people online saying they hate things like celebrating Abe's death, or do Japanese people have a better self-control? No. We have leftists here as well, and so leftists were celebrating, and even like our professors, you know, before his death, you know, there was this famous professor named Jiro Yamaguchi. He's famous for being a leftist. And Jiro Yamaguchi, he was like, Abe, you're not human. I'm gonna cut you down. He was saying that a protest, professor attending a protest. And he was saying that sort of like really violent things. And then after he was assassinated, there was this writer. Is he a writer? Like self-claimed liberal was saying that he is glad that Abe is gone and so on. And there are some people celebrating, and it's been a problem here as well. And but people with common sense, we are all sad. People. There are many like, they're not even like conservatives, I guess, but people went to the location of where he was attacked to give him like some flowers and like write down their name and so on to commemorate Abe. So that happened for a long time in Japan. So that's the common people with common sense, but there are of course like leftists, the minority though, who were celebrating, and because this happened, like Charlie Kirk was murdered, so now we are remembering what happened after Shinzo Abe's death, and how some people were cheering that up and so on. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else to talk about? Why do I love Japan? Photography. I do this. Huh? That's how you take a picture. How many statues or murals have been made for Abe? Will they name schools after him like we do in America? We could. Some people, there's this movement to make a museum though of Shinzo Abe, having all the things that he left in this world. Yeah, so I think they are like a crowd, like fundraising that online, like crowdfunding. And as for statue, I don't think there is one in Japan. I know there's one in Taiwan. Taiwanese people are amazing, so appreciative, but yeah. ね、日本に安倍さんの像とかないよね。像なんかないよね。I'm asking my husband. ないよね。Probably not. Yeah, in Japan, like the statue, like a memorial stone might be there, but yeah. Man, but speaking of Abe, how, as I said, like he was attacked by a homemade gun. So what happened was that the bullets are not regular bullets. So in order to take them out from his body, like the doctors at the hospital had to look, like they didn't know what they're looking for, like, so it's because it goes into pieces, unlike the bullet, like you can just easily find a bullet, but it was because it was homemade. It went like it spread it and so on. So like the cause of his death is a little like we heard the explanation, but it's like to people without medical background, it's kind of confusing. Like how did he actually die? And there are conspiracy theories and yeah. So if you ban guns, or make it difficult to reach, then that is the side effects, I guess. Side effect that there will be things that you can't control, or that like it will be like outside of the box, like you'll be surprised. So yeah. Presidential library that we do for presidents. Oh, how do they archive prime minister's documents like we do here? I have no idea. Prime minister's documents? 日本でなんか総理のドキュメントとかってどうやって保管してんのみたいな。 総理のねドキュメントとか書類とかさ、まあでも引き継がれるよね多分ね。
国立公文書館っていうのがあるけどね。
We have a national, we're not sure, but there's a 公文。
いや、なんか大統領がサインしたとかそんな、なんかね、そうだろうけど。
So yeah, probably in America, like there should be like a president signing the documents and so on. But Japanese politics is a little different. Oh, but we have not,
官僚がやってる。
yeah, probably our bureaucracy stores it. But we do have National Archives of Japan. And yeah, oh, but that it's private though. National Archives of Japan. I don't know what they do, but they try to preserve the documents and so on. It seems. Oh, it's already 6 p.m. Oh no! Abe's assassination is very confusing to me. Me too. They're still trying to finish Obama Presidential Library in Chicago, but they had so many delays and even a fire. What? Wow. Why? Is it because of the right side or is it just an accident? Our news program just started and already like they're talking about LDP leader election. And it's gonna be like Koizumi, this guy, versus Takaichi, the female, like Abe type of female. So it's either of them. So old-fashioned people will vote for him, and new people and conservative people will probably vote for Takaichi. I'm getting hungry. Let's see. Taiwan is another great photographic place. Oh yeah. Taiwan is really nice. I want to visit again. I went there last week actually. Yeah. By the way, the leader election, this guy is running for that too, Motegi. He's making yakisoba or something. Yeah, soba, yakisoba, noodle, yakisoba noodle. He's really, really smart though, but not, but he doesn't stand out. So yeah. Oh, Trump. Trump is asking Europe to stop buying the Russian oil. That's great. And then, yeah, and then 50 to 100% tariffs against China. He's asking that too. That's great. And India too. Wow. I wonder what's gonna happen. But the Sunday news are kind of boring. Nepal is having an election next March. It says. Oh yeah, in order to counter Chinese aircraft coming into Japanese territory, our Minister for Defense is considering using the aircraft like non-human. What is it called again? I always forget that. You know how Chinese aircrafts are always coming into our territory. Trying to come to our territory. So, just drones, UAV, right? UAV. Oh, super chat. Thank you so much. Will Takahashi get along well with Trump? I think so. Like she's used to diplomacy. Uh, yeah, like she attends like international conferences too. Like she has experiences with that. So I think she speaks English. But some people point out though that she's not really good at communication. So I don't know. Like she's such a serious politician who gets into her world, because she's so passionate, and she's kind of like Trump in a way because she cares about what she thinks. There are things that she wanna get done with, and she's gonna focus on it. So I don't know how it's gonna turn out when she interacts with foreign leaders. But if I mean, like she is seen as like a mini Abe, so like very close to Abe. So I think that Trump will just naturally like her, and if he likes her, then she will open up to him too, I think. And she's supported by conservatives in Japan, even in the parliament too, or LDP, other LDP members. There are like LDP politicians with power who are supporting her. So, which should mean that she's a likable person, right, in person. So, yeah. She'd get along with Trump better than Ishiba. Yeah, definitely. Compared to Ishiba, she's gonna be better, way better. Because she does have. But she's kind of practical though. Like she faces the reality well. So she's more. She just explains things. Like when she appears in TV programs or online shows, she just usually like when you communicate, you try to find the common ground, and like you try to express in an effective way and so on. But she just explains what she knows in order and so on. So it's very very like a kind of, it's not bureaucratic, but like just explanatory. And I don't know if how the world will react to that. Oh, Chris Loomis, I must close. Good night, all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you around. Good night. I miss the good old days when everything was made in Japan. Yeah, we had high quality products made in America too, and Japan's products were high quality and very exciting. Yeah, I miss those times too. Like things break easily too now because I guess that the companies today want to sell more than to offer good products, and yeah, but yeah, like it's so frustrating that Japanese people and Americans too, like we have abilities, but we are not, like we can't use that well. So yeah, when I lived in Japan, I encountered a lot of stuff made in China. Yeah, Sanseto shirts, by the way, they are made in China. Those anti-globalism party, their shirts are made in China. Yep, 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 yep. And I feel like I skipped a lot of comments in the beginning. Should I? I don't know what to talk about. Let's see. I'm not getting much super chat anymore. Anything else? Let me get on X to see what people are talking about. Oh, by the way, Meloni, she's popular here in Japan. We don't even know Italian politics, but because she appears to be a strong leader who's close to Trump, people like her. Oh yeah, I saw the news about London. There was an protest, anti-immigration protest. My Ukrainian friend is saying that as for the news I showed you earlier about Trump, pressuring Europe to stop buying resources from Russia, my friend points out that Trump is not criticizing Hungary, so it's superficial. That's a good point. Hungary is so tricky. It's clear that it's all just talk when they don't say anything about Hungary, the biggest buyer of the Russian gas and oil. Hungary's Prime Minister Orban is dependent on Trump, so if they really wanted to, they could start by getting Orban, who seems the most likely to listen, to stop buying. But they don't, because they don't have no intention of doing so. Let's see. Yeah, Japanese people are talking about election. Yeah. Let's see. People want cheap stuff from China and Vietnam. Like this, what's crazy though is that we are so dependent on why it's called like Amazon and so on. And for China, it's like Temu, and what else? There's this similar service from China, really cheap, like online purchase service. That's popular, like they are shipping internationally and so on. But yeah, and people are dependent on it. And once it's cut out internationally, what are they gonna do? It's really terrible. Like because the international shipping is a thing now, I can't even sell my art anymore. The tariffs are expensive, and I guess that we can't just send things anymore, on an individual level. So it's really affecting us, and also, like I talked about the medical show that I was watching, and there was a episode about how the electricity in the hospital went away. Like they had a blackout, and then of course they had a backup generator, but it's limited, right? But then they depicted the scene where like it's everything is on a like an iPad looking device, and it's like a cyber, so when the power goes out, you can't use that, and you gotta go back to pen and paper kind of thing. And that was interesting. And then there was a cyber security aspect as well, that somebody was like cyber attacking in the hospital, and the network got affected and so on. And I think about, I'm such a warrior, like I'm a warrior as in like fighting as well, but I worry a lot. So I think about that sort of like the vulnerability of infrastructure, that we are so dependent on the cyber and electronicity and AI today too, and all the machinery. And once it's like it's like useful things. I've been just thinking to myself like useful things are such a weak points when seen by our adversaries. You know, like it's easy to just attack the uh, nuclear power plants or something, for example, or like generating energy sources, and also the sort of like cyber places and so on. And I'm just drumming myself like crazy like this, thinking about all these things. And anyway, Temu, their ads are so bad. Yeah, there are a lot of troubles, related to that sort of advertisement, because what people order and what it arrives are different in quality. So there are issues happening in Japan as well. Yeah. Before Kirk's murder, the girl's horrific murder was the main news this week. Oh yeah, Ukrainian girl that who got stabbed to death. I haven't I haven't really looked into the story though. I just saw the white girl. Is she Ukrainian? Like sitting in the subway, and then there's a black dude behind her, and he killed her. Terrible, terrible. I've been having problems selling my art too because of my POS governor giving you some raise in the prices here in California. Even in California, like inside your country, because mine is like global shipping. So like our country is like you can't send it like your product that is above the certain amount and so on. I guess because it's make it make the system like saturated, because if everybody sends everything, then it's too many and it gets delayed too. But yeah, it's. I wish there was a way that we can all just live in a normal way. NHK doesn't cover controversial or depressing American news, I don't think. They do, but like just they just lay out the facts. And yeah, and we do have like the world news type of shows, where we like NHK has a program like 10 a.m. on weekdays, I think, that they collect like ABC News and other like news from around the world, like the UK and Germany, France and Hong Kong, Australia, and that sort of like other like the partnered TV stations and so on. They often have they show the world news, but aside from that, NHK usually shows like top news level news from other countries, especially America, if it's tied to the government. So yeah, like about Trump basically. So that becomes the big news, but individual cases are of course like we are another country, so it doesn't really get covered unless it's like a special shows, if you know what I mean. I think many women would not want to commute in trains after seeing the video of stabbing. Yeah, like I'm too scared to dig into the news. Like I haven't seen much at all. Like because I choose not to. I mean I would get scared myself. Yeah. I mean I don't think that I want to travel around in the world now. I mean, first of all, I can't afford, but like unless it is like for political reasons, in order to attend a certain forum or meeting and so on, I don't think that I want to travel around right now because it's the world is so like it's everything is so intense right now. So yeah. Anyway, no more super chats. I guess I should go. I wish I could have come earlier. I was sleeping. Are my comments invisible? No. Were you commenting? I don't think earlier comments were visible because I don't see your icon. Maybe it was. Let's see. Yeah, immigration. Immigration. But it's immigration issue is kind of complicating for me though, in particular because you know why? Because I see, why is it called a lopper? I don't know where the term comes from, but there are people pretending to be Japanese for some reason, and they are saying like, oh, Japan has a lot of immigration, and that oh, Japan will no longer be in Japan anymore, and blah blah blah. Like they agitate the fear, and also they spread misinformation about Japan, and they pretend to be like a right-wing Japanese, but they are not, and they just spread false information in order to benefit their own country or their wallet. They want to make money, because it's people click on it and they look at it a lot when it comes to sensational things like that. So it's been annoying me recently because when I make a post, or when I talk about my country like this, I am really careful with my expressions. Like there are things that like like it's like I don't want to spread misinformation, so I'm careful. Even so, I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly sometimes. So it's really difficult, but there are people like who don't even care about the responsibility, and they openly lie and spread misinformation or biased opinions to fit into the narrative for their own country, and they just basically use Japan, and it's been annoying. Live action role playing. Oh, now that makes sense. Live action role playing. They're role playing in live action. Ah, I see, I see. Yeah, and there are a couple people in Japan who are pointing out the problems of those loppers, and I'm thankful because it's a like it's kind of weird to react to individual accounts, but at the same time it is necessary to point out the problems that they are pretending to be Japanese and saying wrongful things. So yeah, those who live in Japan know the temperature of immigration issues and so on, and how Japanese people react to foreigners and so on. Of course, they understand it because they are in our community in Japan. But those who have never even lived in Japan, it's natural that they misunderstand how we are, because when you magnify it, a certain region or something, you start to think like, oh, that must be the same everywhere in Japan. But Japan is actually a big country. So yeah, it sometimes it's a regional things. Other times it's a problem of like a local authority and so on. Like because in some regions, just like in your country, some cities are liberal, others are conservatives, and so on. And some even there are like places where Communist Party is strong. So yeah, colonial otaku gatekeeper and Mio are two big accounts. Mio got suspended, right? Like I saw. What about the Japanese people saying immigration is a problem? Yeah, there are racists here, and like there are people. I am like mass immigration and so on. I'm against it too, but the people mix up all the issues. And as for Japanese people complaining about immigration issue, they are complaining about the result of our society, the immigration. It's about our economy. It's coming from our economic problem. And those Japanese people, if they are Japanese, they need to think about the root cause of the problem because they are complaining about the results. But there's a problem here. So why don't they talk about economy to fix the problem? When we resolve economic problems, like for example, like invest in like automation with machinery or AI technology and so on. If we are talking about stuff like that to reduce the amount of, reduce the number of immigrants, then that makes sense. But they just want to complain because why? Because they are frustrated with the society today. They just want to complain, and they're using immigration. So that's they don't really think about the Japanese society, who are truly Japanese people who are genuinely thinking about Japan, Japanese future. They're talking about economy. They're talking about national security, like surrounding Japan because China and Russia are really influencing Japan. So we are talking about that sort of stuff, and together with sustaining the balance internationally, like the cooperation with the U.S., U.K., Australia, India, South Korea, and that sort of things. And they don't talk about stuff like that, and they just complain and complain and complain. So, and they are usually elderlies too, so they can't input new information. Napoleon Yoko is on still and talk about Kirk. She's consoling us on our loss. Yes, I am with you. And sometimes you need to kind of think about other things as well. What helped me with like Charlie Kirk's tragedy is that I was busy. So like, but when I was done with an appointment, then in the meantime to the next appointment, I'm like I open X and I get depressed again. So it's you gotta kind of distract yourself. Like it's important to mourn for him, and for your country. But at the same time, you need to maintain your health. Like you need to be in a good state, mental state, for your country and for him too. I think that as for Charlie Kirk, he believed in Jesus Christ, and his faith is what formed him basically. So I'm pretty sure that he is where his soul is probably where he needs to go. He is probably in a good place now. So like he is how I see, like this is a Japanese perspective, so I'm sorry if it doesn't fit you, but my perspective is that we are all like a spirit, living in human flesh, and that he is no longer in the flesh, but the spirit is there. He's just on the other side, on the invisible world, and still with you. So yeah, it's just the other side became more powerful with him. So that's how I see. Do you have suggestions for conservative Japanese people to follow, even those who are more conservatives than you? Conservative people, if you understand Japanese, then Michio Ezaki. He's a critic, Michio Ezaki. And as for like a Japanese, what's going on inside LDP and all the power struggles and so on, Eitaro Ogawa. Eitaro Ogawa. Really close to LDP, and he has real connections that others don't. So he's good. He goes on YouTube as well. And the guy that I reposted yesterday, Atsushi Iwata, he's young. He's only 3 years older than me. Atsushi Iwata. He's so funny. He's so funny, but like he's so funny because he's like he tells the truth, based on his really broad knowledge, and he's a scholar, and yeah, really old-fashioned guy. So like he's like a grandpa, but young flesh, young human flesh. So yeah. Good morning from New York City. Yay! Good morning. How are you? Hope you are doing well. Our bodies are just temporary tents. Yeah, that's what I think. I am sorry though for his family. Like it's devastating. It is. I try not to think about it too much because it's so bad. Yeah. But I know though that Charlie Kirk was loved by many people. Like I can see that. I didn't know well. I didn't know him well, but I can tell, like looking by just by the glance, that he has a large audience, and in real life too, like he has a great team and so on. So I'm sure that their community is supporting each other. So I hope they will survive this really terrible time right now. Like now is the toughest time for them. So I hope that they will, first mourn, and then, like basically get even more stronger with this tragedy, because I feel like humans, we get stronger when we go through the hard times, So yeah, and this. But I think that as for Charlie Kirk, I think he knew the risks, and he dared to challenge. So it's probably like he was speaking till the very end of his life, and it's probably has inspired many people, especially young people today. Yeah, he'll be a legend like this, just like Shinzo Abe too. Like our Shinzo Abe was holding his microphone till the very end too. That's when he got attacked. So that's on a different level, that they were just living their life like it's their mission. So he's in heaven for sure. Christian martyr, and Christian believe in a spiritual life after eternity, for eternity, but we also believe in an eternally hell. I hope bad people like this kid that took his life, I hope he will eventually go to hell. Yeah. Hopefully he will be in heaven. Yeah. I hope his family is doing okay though. Yeah. If this assassinator thinks Charlie was spreading hate, I can't imagine a more hateful act than killing someone. Exactly. I agree with you. Yeah. Isn't it weird that the criminal was like, he is so blind about himself and attack the others? Usually when we have all this emotional struggles, it's because of your inner self and not an outer problem, So it's, but that's why you need to protect yourself though from like idiots like that. Are you married to a foreigner? No. My husband is like the most Japanesey guy ever in my country. I wish my husband could speak English. You guys would love him because he's like Japanese. Yeah. Reshaped the world, and many Charlies were made globally. Seriously, I mean, did you like if you have time, go to my X page, and I think I reposted South Koreans saying we are Charlie Kirk. What was it? No, not bookmark. I reposted that, right? Yeah. South Koreans chanting we are Charlie Kirk. They kept saying that, so at least in South Korea, like you can visibly see that now there are more Charlie Kirk now. And yeah, over here in Japan, we saw that as well. Like people are, of course, we are thinking about Charlie Kirk too, and yeah, and the world is shocked basically, and his global network too. I have spoken to somebody in Europe as well from Turning Point USA. Yeah, it's global, and when our enemies want to get rid of a certain network or certain power, then we know from that that's exactly what we need to do. And what Charlie Kirk was doing, from what I can understand, is that he was talking to people, having debates, and having a conversation. Aside from the mainstream media and so on are so like one-sided, but he was having a conversation, communication, and plus he was spreading the network everywhere. And that's something that our enemies want us to stop. Like they always try to cut ties in us. Like in America, like Christianity is often the target, right? Christianity, what it does, of course, like your like emotional part or mental part, like is something that but from what I can see is that Christianity is what's uniting the country, Americans, and through the Christianity too, like Koreans, they are reacting to Charlie Kirk's tragedy because they are Christians too. The Christian community in South Korea is strong. So like again, the Christianity is powerful. So of course, those who want to weaken America will attack the strong point of America. And Charlie Kirk, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but like he really had strong faith, and also he had a network internationally too. So he was a great target, So that's what we need to focus on, I think. So for Americans, I think it's really South Korea, by the way, is an important, really geographically, it's they're important too. And also, like if you can take South Korea on our side, then it's really good because their technology is advanced and so advanced as well. So we gotta make sure that they don't fall into the side of China or North Korea. We need to make sure that South Korea is on our side, and they have Christian values. Not all of them, but many have that. So you need to make sure that you're connected with them as well. They're very like conservatives in South Korea who are working tirelessly. So. But But yeah, it's really great. What's great about Charlie Kirk was that he was a great debater. So it's I think that people will, yeah, young people will probably look at him and think that they will carry on his what he was working on and so on too. Yeah. As a immigration is becoming a problem, or is one in specific locations, but is in Japan one. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create soft men. Soft men create hard times. Yeah, I like that quote. Like, where are we? You know, are we creating the good times? And I mean, I really want strong-minded people. I looked through many of his debates and all were peaceful. Yeah, I think that what happens is that, like I said, like even I probably have some differences, right? And when that happens, like I am the kind of person like, oh, he thinks that way, okay, like he's that kind of person, okay, and go on with it, you know, and figure out what we could work together and so on, you know, like you don't have to like change a person, you know, like what you need to do is to just introduce like a different perspectives or your own perspectives to feed their thoughts, and from there that's the person's job, right, to process that, to come to the conclusion of the person, right? And you don't get to change others directly, if you know what I mean. But some people, I guess, get easily offended, especially if they're not mentally stable, and they just take everything personal, you know, just because someone doesn't agree with you. It's probably due to the parenthood in the family, you know, like what you felt as a little child, you project that onto other people who are powerful. Mental Mentally you need to be stable if you want to engage politically. It's really dangerous. The way that I see is that, you know, in Japan, like our martial art, you know, like I used to do kendo, like a Star Wars, you know, you have a sword and you do this basically. So I used to do that, like Japanese fencing. It's not fencing, but you know what I mean. So swords. So we bow and we fight, and then it, either side wins, and then bow and then end, right? And when we that sort of martial art or even Shinto, our religion, or like or tea ceremony and so on too, anything with do at the end of our word, our terms, like it means like path or way. And what that shows is that like it's a concept that we are having others reflects, like we have others reflect our mind or how we are, you know. Like the kendo is the easy example, because like why do you lose against your opponent? Because your opponent hits your weak point. There was a vulnerability or something that you're not good at in your actions, and then like your opponents will gonna hit that and show you. So you basically, they reflect who you are, how you are, and your weak points and so on. And it's about you, right? It's not whether, of course, the opponent must be good, but it's real how we perceive is that it's about ourselves. So that when we realize that, oh, that was the weak point, then we need to then work on it to be better and stronger, right? So like, but in debates too, like if when your logic doesn't apply well, then you need to think about the logic yourself. Like, oh, why is this happening? Like that approach came around, and then you're thinking this way, and why doesn't it work? You have to think about it instead of attacking your opponent, right? So yeah, that's awesome to do with swords. It's a humble martial art. Thank you. Even Mark Levin debate Charlie Kirk's take on Israel. Would debate Charlie Kirk's take on Israel, but they stayed as friends. But Levin still fights against Baron Tucker and Owens. Interesting. Debate though. Debate though. Yeah. Yeah. Because like some people just attack others, like instead of understanding where they are coming from. And like I don't know, like if you want to control what other people think, then you will end up becoming a totalitarian. So it's really, really dangerous. Like it's okay that other people think differently, because you're not gonna die because other people think differently from you. And those people will definitely not be able to have international friends, because if you talk to people from other countries, like you are doing with me, like our backgrounds are different, and it's natural that we think differently. But because of that, like it's fun and it's eye-opening, right? Like, oh, you think that way? Like, huh? Like you think about new things, right? And it widens your perspective, and it's supposed to be interesting and fun, and not frustrating and so on. People are so negative, but I guess that it's like I feel like they are just spoiled, that because people others are different from themselves, they feel that they are not loved. And I think that it's the bottom cause of it all, that they don't feel loved. And it's like love me kind of action. So hey, why don't you understand me, mom, kind of thing. Anyway, I'm rambling. I should probably go. Yo, do Koreans also use do? I don't think so. Taekwondo, I don't think it's the same do. Just a sound maybe. How many dojos are teaching Miyagi-Do karate in Japan? I have no idea. Karate Kid. Yeah, Charlie, he has a unique way of thinking. Charlie Kirk had a unique way of thinking, but it doesn't mean that he was a radical. Yeah. I mean, everybody is, especially the left side, is radical, right? Like from our perspective, and it's crazy. Isn't it weird? Like, when you are too different, though, from people in your country, then they should think that maybe they're the problem. That's what I think. Like, I don't care. Like, in Japan, I'm the minority, I'm conservative, but, like, there are more conservative people today in Japan. But still, like, my type of, like, traditional conservative are still rare in Japan. But then, like, it's kind of cool, right? I'm the minority, and others don't know what's cool about this. It's cool for me, but some people just get offended by that. Like, it's so strange. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I wanted more super job, but I guess this is the best I can do. Because it's midnight for many of you. So I am still thankful for those who came, though, in the middle of the night or from different side of the world. Thank you so much. Talking in public is always risky. Yeah. Yes. You are talking about Shinzo Abe. Yes. It's politics in general already is risky because it's tied to people's life and there are merits and what's the other word? Merits and harm and so on. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm gonna go. Love you and your husband. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great night. Sweet dreams. Or if you're from other places, have a good day. Okay, and stay strong. Okay, at least you have allies in the world. So thank you. You and Hitoshi should head to London next Sunday. It's Japan Matsuri. Sounds exciting. I wish we could. I wish we could afford. Like, it's not a matter of time. It's about money. Finance. That is stopping us. So, teach him English. I will try. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night or a good day. Okay. Stay safe. Bye.